I always had a very hard time with disciplining myself to do the work when it was time to do the work. Every time I had to sit down, I just had this impulse, this desire to do everything else besides doing the work because I felt uncomfortable. You know, whenever I eventually got myself to sit down, I would be distracted by everything and everyone because I allowed myself to, when it became uncomfortable, to act on these highly dopamine-inducing activities that didn't really provide me any benefit at all, besides me running away from the discomfort that I was feeling in that moment. And so for a very long time, I was stuck with that, and it's only when I started to make it so incredibly hard for myself to be undisciplined that everything started to change for me. And now, take in mind that this took me a very long time for it to happen and to realize these things. But I want to share what I know with you today, and hopefully you can start making progress more quickly. All right, so the first thing that I started to do, I stopped sleeping with my phone. You know, you see that couch over there, which I'm also going to talk about in this video. That couch used to be my bed. And instead of lying down in my bed with my phone, I've put my phone on the desk that is right here in front of me. And I laid it there and I went to lie down over there and I disassociated the fact that my bed and my phone are connected with each other. And so by doing that, I was instilling the habit that whenever I had to sleep, I was going to sleep and not be on my phone. I kept my promise of like listening to my body. My body tells me, you gotta sleep, you're tired. But then if I go lie down in my bed and I'm on my phone, I'm actually going against that, what I said. You know, it goes quite deep if you think about it. And just by doing this little thing, I was already building myself up to eventually do the work properly the way that I wanted to do the work. Now, the next thing is to keep your phone at a distance when you want to sit down and do the work. You know, right now, today, in the day and age of today, I can have my phone in front of me, my computer open, and it would not distract me. Why is that? Because it took me a lot of months, and I think even a year, to like disassociate the fact that I'm not gonna use my phone when I'm doing the work. And I sometimes still have those impulses when it gets uncomfortable, when it gets hard, to pick up my phone and to want to look at all the notifications that I have, and that gives me like this good feeling that I'm making progress and I'm loved and everything else that doesn't really matter in the moment besides doing the work. But I've managed to build up like this resistance for it, like this mental grit, so to say. Like I can disassociate myself and recognize that no, what I want to do I don't need to be on my phone if I want to get to work. If I want to record these videos, I don't really need to be on my phone unless to sometimes look at the script to remind myself like, okay, these are things that I can say in the video so that I just don't end up rambling about this and that and him and her and whatever. And so by keeping your phone at a distance whenever you want to do the work, like it will, if you, for example, put your phone in a different room and you randomly have that impulse to go watch your phone when you were doing the work, like to open up Instagram, for example, you will have to physically get up, walk through the door, go to the other room, pick up your phone, and that gives you already a lot of time to process what is happening. Because most of the times what happens is you're not even conscious of the fact that you are picking up your phone. It's such a habit. Like the thing with habits and why we are creatures of habit is that instilling habits allows us to think about things less so that we can focus on the things that really matter. Like we don't think about brushing our teeth, we simply brush our teeth the way that we do. We don't think about walking, we walk, you know. We don't think about, I gotta put my left foot first, then my right foot, and then my left foot again. I gotta make sure that my body's in this position. No, you don't do that. You simply just walk. And while you're walking, you're already thinking about different things, you know. You're not conscious about the way that you walk. And so, if you put your phone in a different room when you want to sit down and do the work, you will be confronted with the fact like, oh, I want to pick up my phone, but for what? Then you ask yourself the question and you answer the question by, oh, I want to pick up the phone because I don't really like doing the work, you know, I'm a bit uncomfortable. So fuck, I'm confronted with this. And then what you got to do then is force yourself to return to your chair, to sit down and to do the work. And this will be like a continuous game that you will have to play back and forth continuously over and over and over again up until it becomes a habit. And when that becomes a habit, you don't think about it anymore and you can leave your phone here, because what will happen then is that whenever it feels uncomfortable, you will not have that desire link. Like you will not have that, how could you call it? Nervous link. I don't know. I really don't know the terms, but you will not have like that. You will not be wired to pick up your phone when things get uncomfortable. So instead, you will just be like, okay, fuck, I feel uncomfortable, fuck it, let's persevere. Because you have done that so many times, you have put in so many repetitions to unlearn that habit that when the time comes that it happens again, you don't associate the two with each other. And so you will be able to discipline yourself way more easily to do the work, because it will be incredibly hard to not do the work. Now, the next point. If you are somebody who likes to play video games on either your computer or on a gaming console, and you have that gaming console in your room, take the gaming console out of your room. Take the screen out of your room. Put it somewhere else. I don't care where you put it. Put it in the room of your parents. Put it in your neighbor's house. I don't care. Get it out of the place where you work, because the place where you work at is the place where you work out. You got to instill the habit that when you go somewhere to sit down and do the work, that is the place where you will only sit down and do the work. Because this creates like a habit of respecting your environment, respecting the area that you are in. You're not going to eat food when you're taking a shit on the toilet, are you? No, because when you're sitting on the toilet, you're doing whatever you got to do on the toilet while taking a shit or peeing. And if you got a shower there, you will shower as well. But you're not going to eat food while there, because you don't have that habitual pattern created inside of you to do that. Like the two are not associated with each other. When you want to eat food, if you're somebody who respects themselves, you go down to the kitchen and you eat food at the kitchen table, in the kitchen, where you're supposed to be eating food, where all the food is. So when you want to work, you want to have an environment where you only work. You're not going to play video games here. You're not going to watch porn here. You're not going to do everything else that you could do. You're not going to be scrolling on your phone when you are here. No, you're only going to be here to do the work and to do everything that is necessary. And if you play games on your computer, delete all of the games on your computer. And now you're gonna be like, no, but it's my free time and I really love to do that. Like, okay, if that is the case, still delete them and reinstall them. Reinstall those video games afterwards. Because you know damn well that when it gets uncomfortable, you will have that impulse to play the game. So you gotta make it incredibly hard for yourself to be disciplined. Like, you gotta make it incredibly hard for yourself that it's impossible to be undisciplined. And the only way to do that is to delete the games on your PC. Because then every time when you have the association that when it gets uncomfortable, probably unconsciously, you will want to play video games, and we look at the fact and you go like, oh wait, I don't have the game to play. And that's when you bust yourself. That's when you realize like, damn, I was just gonna screw myself up. I was gonna screw up the momentum and the progress I could have made today. And now by doing that, you already get yourself closer to becoming the man that you want to be, and you start making progress towards the goals that you want. Like, it's really in these little things that you really make the progress. Like your habits. More often than not, you think your habits are helping you, but your habits are not helping you. And the worst part of it all is that most of your habits are unconsciously wired into you. Like, they're just unconscious. You're not even aware of what is happening, and you have to create awareness. Awareness is a first step to bringing change in your life. Now, the next step, quite a drastic one, because most people like to be on Instagram, like to be on TikTok, like to be on YouTube on their phones because it's easy. Now I'm going to give you the task to delete all of them. Delete every single one of them. And the same rule applies to this, because there will come a point when you are doing the work, when you want to persevere, you want to make the best day of your life, like you want to make the most progress you can in one day, and you will be working, and maybe you need to use your phone. You know, if you want to record YouTube videos, you need to make a script, you need to write down certain things down, and you like to use your phone, it's easy, you know. Okay, then make it so incredibly hard for yourself to not become distracted by the apps that are on your phone, because if they are on your phone, they're one click away of them being used, and then when you use them, your focus is gone, you have to start all over again, and you make no script at all. Or maybe you write down 2 lines. I remember when I was making music in the past, whenever it became uncomfortable for me, when I was writing music, when I was writing lyrics, I would cope and say like, I'm gonna go on social media to get inspired, or I'm gonna like give myself a little break and I'm gonna be on social media. Listen, you're not on a break when you're being like, when you're getting like these triggers, like these dopamine triggers on your phone. Like these dopamine triggers off social media while you're on your phone. You're not taking a break. The only moments that you take a break is when you sleep and when you're not doing the work. But mostly only when you sleep. So you're not really taking a break because you're still consuming information and your brain is still going in overload. So Whenever you go on your phone, when it gets uncomfortable, or when you're doing the work on your phone, I had this often. I would write down lyrics, and then I would open up my phone, and I would look for the app of Instagram to open it. And then many times, like, it's happening unconsciously, and then I'm there in that folder. I have it there, and then I realize, like, oh fuck, I don't have Instagram on there anymore. And then I get a double realization of, oh fuck, I wasn't even aware of that I'm doing this. And by doing that over an extended amount of time, I created the habit to not go on Instagram anymore because it's not there anymore. And now I can have Instagram on my phone without me having that trigger to go there. Because, by the way, I don't have Instagram. I deleted Instagram because I wasn't really using it, so why would I still have it? But I had created the habit. I had disassociated to do things from each other, being uncomfortable with the need of wanting to get like this dopamine-induced activity into my current situation to like make me happy, that I allowed myself to be comfortable with my discomfort. And this is what you want to have in your life. This is what you want to aim for. It's the only way to like become disciplined, is to make it so incredibly hard to be undisciplined by setting your environment, setting your way up, setting your phone up, that you cannot drift off of the thing that you want to do. And you have to force it to happen, because it is going to be not fun. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be painful. Why? Because you are changing your habits in that moment. And more often than not, you know, in the moments that you told yourself that you were going to do the work, because every day you only have a limited amount of capacity to do the work, in the beginning you will not get a lot of work done in the first place. Like, that's what I had. I wasn't getting a lot of progress in. Why? Because I was fighting the impulses and I was fighting the urges. And due to the fact that I was fighting the urges, all my energy was going into that. But I was creating the habit to set myself up in the future to be able to do the work. That I can now sit here from 7 in the morning till 7 in the evening without having the need to touch my phone. And sometimes when that impulse does arise, because I still have like here and there some desires to watch like videos when I'm eating food, but when I have to like get real work done and make real progress, especially within a given time frame, like for example 4 hours, I'm able to do that without touching my phone, no matter how uncomfortable it gets, because I have then made myself, I have then forcefully created the habit to go outside and get some sunlight into my eyes, or to like pet my cat or kiss my wife when I felt uncomfortable, instead of picking up my phone and like overindulging in highly triggering dopamine things. For some reason I couldn't say it in a different way, and not lose as much of my brain capacity that I have in these habits that don't really contribute towards me becoming better, because these are really destructive habits. Sleeping with your phone, like waking up in the morning, the first thing you do is checking your notifications. Throughout the night, checking your notifications. You are setting yourself up for failure. When I'm working, checking my notifications. When I'm waking up, when I'm doing the work and I feel uncomfortable, going on YouTube in order to reduce myself from the discomfort that I have. Discipline is painful. And the only way that you can be disciplined is by going through the pain. And by making it incredibly hard to be undisciplined, like basically impossible to be undisciplined, you make it easier to be disciplined. The next point I want to bring across is, even if you have to be on your phone and you've already deleted all the apps, you have deleted everything, so it's impossible for you to be distracted by going on social media, going on YouTube or whatever. The next thing is to put your phone on Do Not Disturb and to turn off all your notifications. Nobody can disturb you during the moments that you have to do the work. And now you will say like, no, people will need me, people will call me. In the years that I've done that, almost nobody has called me. And now, is this to say that I'm maybe not that important to the people that I have in my life? No, not quite. Because if there's an urgency, I'm not the person that they're going to be calling. If there's an urgency, if somebody falls off the stairs, like somewhere, they're gonna call the emergency system, because what am I going to do? What point is there for me? Like, I'm of no use to them. If you're an intelligent person, you will understand this. And so, sometimes my parents called me, but it wasn't for an emergency. They just need to know, like, hey, do you need this bread? Do you need this? Do you need the butter? Whatever. But due to being on Do Not Disturb and also telling them, like, hey, you won't be able to get into contact with me because of these reasons, they would respect it. They would still habitually call me, like, just to know. You never know when I'm maybe on my phone and not working, because they didn't always knew when I was working. But eventually they stopped calling me, and it became a pattern for them asking me beforehand what I wanted from the store, for example, instead of calling me throughout the day to figure out what it was. And usually when they call me, when they really, really need me, they call me, and then when I see it, I call them back, and it's never an emergency. All right? So get it out of your head that you need your notifications to be turned on. If you respect yourself, if you want to get the work done, if you want to make the progress that you desire, if you want to become this disciplined person, you have to accept the fact that you need to turn your notifications off, and your time is very valuable. Your time is sacred. Your brain energy is sacred. So you have to respect it with everything that you have. Because if you're a thinker, if you're somebody who creates, you need to have your full focus so that you can only have one thing on your mind, and that is to make. Because every other thing that will come in the way, that will distract you, will only lead you to make less progress, will make you to produce less than what you'd actually want to produce. If you want to build a business, you need to be able to build a product. But if you're constantly distracted from building the product, then no product is going to be made, no customer is going to be helped, no money will be made, and no impact will be made by you in the world, and you will solve no issues. So you have to remember this. You have to respect yourself, all right? I hope this video has been able to be of meaning. If you'd only implement these things and focus on these things, this will already give you a huge benefit in your life. Trust me, because these are the things that did that to me. Oh yeah, by the way, before closing off this video, there's one thing that I did to also help me in my journey of becoming more disciplined and making it impossible for me to be undisciplined. I used to have a bed in this room. So where you see this couch, I used to have a bed over there. But I then decided to get the bed out of the room and to put a couch over there that I can then open up to be a bed. The reason for that is because when it was uncomfortable for me to do the work, I struggled. I would literally pick up my phone, I would lie down in bed, and I would scroll on social media or watch YouTube videos or whatever, watch Netflix, Disney Plus, it doesn't matter. And I would distract myself, and I would want to feel like some little bit of pleasure. But by taking out the bed out of my room, I didn't have a bed anymore. So whenever I want to go there, I was like, oh wait, there's a couch. But I'm not gonna lie down on that couch. Fuck that. No, the couch is to chill on, to sit on. But I'm not gonna use that to now relax in. And if I wanted to lie down in that bed that I had to go to the other room. And as I'm walking to that other room, I'm realizing oh, I'm just running away from the discomfort that I'm in. And so by continuously fighting off that urge, by forcing myself through it, I was able to disassociate the fact that even when my bed is open here, which never does, by the way, because I always want to make my bed because I think it looks unprofessional if my bed is open. I don't feel like I'm working. I don't feel like I'm in my office if my bed is open. It feels more professional when this couch is here. When I see this, oh, by the way, this pillow is looking fine. That's better. This pillow was looking quite off. I feel like I'm in work mode. And when my bed is open, it doesn't feel like I'm in work mode. And so, the only reason that I used to open up that couch was to sleep. And so my bed was this couch. I took off the cover, opened it up, got on my blankets, then put it in, but only at the end of the day. All right? I hope this video has been of value for you. Like I'm telling you, if you focus only on these things, you will become disciplined. You won't be disciplined in 1, 2, 3. You won't be disciplined in how could I say it? In 24 hours, as some people might say. You have to give it time. You have to fight it. Being disciplined is a skill. But there are habits that are holding you back from becoming disciplined. So you have to kill off those habits first. So that's why we got to start with these things. If you like this video, let me know in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, do whatever. Share it with a friend, share it with your neighbors, share it with your grandmother. I don't care what you're on. With a hobo, maybe he needs it to become more disciplined. Doesn't matter. All right? Remember that you are 100% responsible for the results in your life. Make the hard decision today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right? Bye-bye.